Hello all, my name is Shante Alvarez-Minor and I serve as the Director of Graduate Recruitment and Student Success here in the Jonsson School. Today I will be sharing with you about the FastTrack program that we offer to our undergraduate students. For the FastTrack program, our undergraduate students are able to obtain graduate credit while completing their bachelor's degree. So let's look at what that looks like. Okay, so let's take a peek at our table of contents here. So this will show us what we're going to talk about throughout the remainder of the recording. So we'll look at the introduction, we'll look at exactly what is the FastTrack program, we're going to go over general requirements, and then even more specifically, we'll do a breakdown of each of the individual graduate programs, as well as I'll provide you the contact information of those that you need to contact in regard to the graduate FastTrack program, in regard to the FastTrack program and the graduate courses that you would like to take. Okay, the introduction. So here in the Jonsson School, our students can pursue graduate degrees in 8 different academic disciplines. This also means that within these 8 graduate programs, our students are eligible to take graduate level courses while enrolled in their FastTrack program. So the programs are biomedical engineering, computer science, electrical engineering, material science and engineering, mechanical engineering, software engineering, and systems engineering and management. So let's take a deeper dive into exactly what FastTrack is. So what is exactly FastTrack? Well, the FastTrack option enables our qualified senior undergraduate students to take graduate level courses while pursuing their bachelor's degree at UT Dallas. So admissions into the FastTrack program is open to senior students, so you have to be rated at that senior level. But the idea of doing these information sessions early is that it takes a lot of planning. So you've got to have at least 90 credit hours on your transcript, and 36 of those hours need to be completed in the core curriculum. And that 36 is going to be that Texas core curriculum that starts off with like your histories, some math, some sciences, things like that are not necessarily degree level courses. And then the rest of those courses outside of the 36 are going to be your major, your degree level courses. FastTrack allows our students to count graduate courses for their undergraduate required courses as well as credits towards a graduate degree. So let's take a little bit closer look at what that means for our general requirements. So here are the general requirements that students must follow in order to be eligible for FastTrack as well as remain in FastTrack. So you do have to have at least maintain a cumulative GPA of a 3.0. That's going to be both in your undergraduate and graduate level coursework. Although once we get to the program requirements, you're going to see that some of our programs do require a higher GPA than a 3.0 to actually even get into the FastTrack program, but we'll go over that in a minute. You do need to satisfy all program requirements, and the biggest thing is that you have to maintain good academic standing. So in order to get into the FastTrack program, you've got to obviously have good academic standing, but in order to stay in it as well, you also need to maintain that good academic standing. So it's really important to make sure that as you're thinking about the FastTrack program, especially for those that are watching that are a freshman or a sophomore level, you really have to make sure that you're maintaining a really high GPA. This is going to ensure that you're able to get accepted into the FastTrack program, but then also we want to make sure that you're successful within the FastTrack program. So make sure that you're keeping up that high academic rigor as you're going through your undergraduate coursework. The biggest thing between sort of an undergrad and grad level is that at the grad level, you're not really able to retake courses. So students really need to understand that as they apply for the FastTrack program and then they're accepted into the FastTrack program, they're not able to repeat a single graduate level course more than one time. So if you don't do well the first time, you are able to take it again, but you're not going to be able to take that course multiple times in order to get a passing grade. So it's really important that as you're thinking about, is a fast track program going to be a good fit for you, that you need to understand that graduate level coursework comes with a little bit more rigor than an undergraduate course. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's harder. It's just going to require a little bit more work. And so you need to make sure that you're able to put in that extra work so that you can maintain that high academic standing. Now, for those that are interested in the Fast Track program, which I highly recommend, if you plan it right, which again, I'm hoping there's freshmen and sophomores watching this recording, you're able to take up to 15 semester credit hours in graduate work. Most of our graduate programs are 30 credit hour programs, which means that you're able to do almost half of your graduate level master's program as an undergraduate student. That's amazing. That means that really by the time you graduate with your bachelor's degree, you would be halfway done your master's. So you're really only talking about another year to complete your master's degree. I am going to provide some clarification because I've had some questions come up in the past. You graduate as a bachelor student. So those that are in the Fast Track program, you will graduate with your bachelor's degree. You'll walk the stage and everything like that. So it's not like being in the Fast Track program, you automatically continue on and then you finish the master's coursework and then you walk the stage. You actually walk the stage first as a bachelor student, get your bachelor's degree, and then then those that are in the Fast Track program automatically matriculate, which means that they automatically are accepted into the master's program of whatever program they were completing their Fast Track in, and for the following semester. So like, let's say you graduate in May, you would automatically be accepted into the next term, which is fall. And so you would start your master's program in fall and could potentially be done that following May, so 1 year. So hopefully that helps answer some of the questions in regards to students were confused of whether or not they still get to earn their bachelor's. They do get to earn their bachelor's. All right, so now let's look at some of the program requirements. For our program requirements, so here are all of our programs that are listed, our 8 programs, starting with biomedical engineering. Remember earlier when I showed you the general requirements and it showed that 3.0 and I said that there were some programs that required higher? There are. You can see here, material science is a program that requires a 3.7 GPA. This is the GPA that you must have on your transcript when you're applying for the Fast Track program in order to be accepted into the program. So this is one of our eligibility requirements. You can see that biomedical engineering and mechanical have the 3.0, and then computer engineering, systems, and electrical all have 3.3s, and then the other programs are a little bit higher with a 3.5. The other thing is the requirements, and you can see that every program has a different set of requirements of what must be posted on your transcript in order for you to be eligible to apply for the Fast Track program. So let's take a closer peek into exactly what all those requirements are per program. So let's start first with biomedical engineering. Biomedical engineering, you must have at least 2 semesters of calculus. Typically, it's going to be calculus 1 and calculus 2. You also need to have differential equations, 1 semester of chemistry, and then 1 semester of cellular or molecular biology, and then 2 semesters of physics. The really nice thing with biomedical engineering is that you actually don't have to come from a biomedical engineering bachelor's program in order to take graduate level courses in biomedical engineering. So if you're coming from a program outside biomedical engineering and you actually already have these courses listed on your transcript, you're eligible to apply for the Fast Track program in biomedical engineering. So we actually have lots of students who will cross over from possibly mechanical engineering if they have these courses already down, or we have students that come from physics, biology, chemistry. So we will accept students outside the discipline of biomedical engineering. So we do encourage all students who have these minimum requirements and of course the 3.0 GPA to apply for the biomedical engineering Fast Track program. Next, we'll look at computer engineering. So as you can see, computer engineering has a very extensive list of prerequisites that are required, or those benchmark courses that are required. Remember, computer engineering had that GPA of a 3.3, but the biggest thing is it's really this extensive list of benchmark courses that are required. So it's really important that for students that are interested in pursuing the FastTrack program in computer engineering, that you look at these required courses and you start early. So hopefully there's going to be a lot of younger students, or I say younger, I mean freshmen and sophomore students that are looking at this list. If you're a junior already, it could get tricky depending on if you've been able to get most of these courses already completed. A lot of these courses are prerequisites for each other, so you do have to do one first before then you could do the other one. So as you are reviewing this list of benchmark courses, please make sure that you are meeting with your ECS academic advisor, your particular advisor, and then I will show you Jackie's information at the end, and she's our ECS advisor that's over the FastTrack program. You've got to make sure that you build out your degree plan early so you're successful and you're able to get all of these benchmark courses done by the time you hit that 90 credit hours versus going over. This is where if you're over and you've still got to get benchmark courses, we'll still accept you to the FastTrack program, but you might only be able to be in it for about a semester, which means you're not going to be able to get 15 credit hours. I mean, still getting some graduate level courses is definitely better than no graduate level courses. But if you really want to utilize and be able to get the best from the program, it's better for you to start earlier versus later. All right, let's look at computer science next. So computer science, although the list looks kind of long, it's actually just portions. So from that top section, you only need to get 6 out of the 8 benchmark courses. As you can see, some of the courses are listed as CS and some of them are listed as software engineering because software engineering also falls under the Department of Computer Science. So essentially, if you're a computer science student, you're doing the CS. If you're a software engineering student, you're doing the SE. So hopefully that'll make sense for those in that top section. And then same thing for the bottom section where you only have to complete at least 2 of the following. So it's not as many courses or benchmark courses. Again, these are all courses you would be completing anyways. You just need to make sure that you're doing them earlier in your academic plan so that once you hit that 90 credit hours, you're able to successfully apply for the FastTrack program. Some things to note is that for each of the benchmark courses, you do need to have a B or higher. And then your combined GPA on the benchmark courses needs to be at least a 3.5. So that's slightly different than some of the other programs. So you really want to make sure that you are getting good grades in your benchmark courses, that really you're getting A's and B's. One of the things I'll tell you is that most of the programs don't want to see a C in a benchmark course. They really don't want to see a C anywhere on your transcript. However, if you do have a C on your transcript, don't discount yourself out. The biggest thing that I can communicate to all of you is that communication is key. So if you don't know, ask. You're going to get to see at the very end the contact information for the programs as well as the contact information for ECS advising. So you're definitely going to want to make sure that you reach out to those contact people and ask questions. Sometimes a C on a transcript doesn't necessarily discount you from being eligible for the program. You may have to do some explaining and show them the reason why you got that C, but we really do want to help you be successful. Part of it too is that we also want to make sure you're ready for the academic rigor that comes with taking a graduate level course. All right, next, let's look at electrical engineering. So electrical engineering is going to be very similar to computer engineering. It's got a pretty extensive list as well of benchmark courses. A lot of these benchmark courses are already built into your degree plan for those that are coming from electrical engineering. So these are all the courses you're taking anyways. So it's extremely important that you are meeting with your academic advisor early, letting them know that you are interested in joining the FastTrack program by the time you reach your senior year, which would be your 90 credit hours. And so to make sure that you are on the right plan and that you're on the right track. Again, many of these classes are prerequisites for each other. It doesn't necessarily, just because I have the list like this, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is the order that you take those classes. So you're really going to want to make sure that you work with your academic advisor as well as Jackie, that's in the ECS advising, to help make sure that you're on the right track to take all the courses that you need and in the right order, so that by the time you reach that 90 credit hours, you're ready to successfully apply for the FastTrack program. All right, next is mechanical engineering. For any of you that are watching this video that might have attended one of my past information sessions that I did in person or that I did online, please note that as of this fall 2025, the mechanical engineering requirements for FastTrack have changed. They haven't gotten harder or anything like that. They've just been updated. So please make sure that you are paying attention to now what the new requirements are. So for mechanical engineering, it's still the completion of those 90 credit hours. That's a rule sort of across the board for all the academic programs. You do need to have a cumulative GPA of a 3.0. But now the new requirement is that you need to have a completion of at least 15 credit hours of mechanical 3,000 level courses, earning a B or higher, which a B or higher is that 3.0. So the 15 credit hours, that's the new part. So 15 credit hours is 5 classes. So you've got to make sure that you've done at least 5 classes in 3,000 level or above. So as you are talking with your academic advisor, which I cannot stress that enough, that communication is key, and you've let them know early that you want to apply to the FastTrack program, you've just got to make sure that you have at least 5 3,000 level courses that you're going to have completed by the time you hit that 90 credit hours. That's really going to be the big thing in order for you to be successful in being eligible to apply for the FastTrack program in mechanical engineering. So just make sure that you've got those 5 courses listed on your transcript. One of the things I should mention before I move on, and this is pretty much across the board for all the academic programs, is that sometimes students run into the situation of where they hit 90 credit hours. They're going to hit it at the end of a semester. Well, our application deadlines are October 1st for spring, and then I believe March 15th for fall. Well, because of that, you're not going to have those grades aren't going to be posted yet. So you won't have the GPA and you won't have the coursework being completed. Most of the programs will allow you to apply anyway. So for instance, if you're looking to start in the spring, but you're going to finish that 90 credit hours at the end of the fall, well, obviously the grades aren't posted and neither are the completion of the benchmark courses. We'll still apply by that October 1st deadline. And then, again, communication is key. Send an email to the graduate advisor, which you will have their contact information at the end of this video, and let them know I'm applying for the FastTrack program and let's just say mechanical engineering. However, I don't have the 90 credit hours just yet. I'll have them at the end of this fall semester, as well as the 5 benchmark courses that I'm supposed to have, but I'm applying now because the deadline is now. And then what will happen is as soon as your grades post, then you send a follow-up email. Okay, grades have posted. And then essentially what they'll do is they'll sort of set that application off to the side. Once your grades are posted, they'll review. As long as you meet the requirements that you're supposed to, you should be accepted to the program. And then you can go ahead and register for your graduate level courses. They might even be able to say, here are the graduate level courses you'd be able to register for spring, so that once you're accepted into the program, you're able to quickly register for those courses. It is sort of a crunch time at the very end, but it'll give you an opportunity to hopefully get in the following semester after you've completed your 90 credit hours. So I hope that makes sense. If not, definitely send me an email. Okay, so now we have software engineering. Software engineering is going to be almost identical to computer science because obviously they're in the same academic program or department. So you're going to have 6 of those 8 benchmark courses. But again, I know the list looks long, but if you actually really look at it, you can see that really it's either you're looking at a CS or SE anyway, so you're just going to do all the SE courses that are required. Again, these SE courses are going to be required anyways in your degree plan. You just want to make sure that you're taking them at the right time so that you've completed all the benchmark courses by the time you hit that 90 credit hours, and then you're eligible to apply for the FastTrack program. And then of course, the only difference with this one, with software engineering versus computer science is, I don't know if you remember, but computer science, you had to complete at least 2 of the following in that second section. Well, for software engineering, you only have to complete 1 of the following in that second section. So, and then you're eligible. I should also note while I'm on this page, I know I keep talking about that 90 credit hours. 90 credit hours is the minimum that you need to have on your transcript in order to be eligible to apply for the FastTrack program. However, just because you have 90 credit hours on your transcript does not mean you're eligible to apply for the FastTrack program, because for each of the individual programs, you need to make sure that you've completed the benchmark. So I'll use software engineering as an example. It's possible that you could have like 92 credit hours on or 93 credit hours on your transcript. But if you're missing, let's say, one of the following on the bottom, so that SE 4348 or SE 4351 or SE 4352, and you don't have any of those, you still got to take that even though you're over the 90 credit hours. The minimum is 90 credit hours in order for you to be eligible to be able to successfully apply and be accepted into the FastTrack program. So I hope that makes sense. If not, then that's when you definitely want to reach out to me, or you want to reach out to your academic advisor or Jackie, who's over FastTrack and ECS advising, or you could also reach out to your graduate advisor of the program that you're wanting to apply for FastTrack. All right, so let's look at our last but definitely not least, systems engineering and management. So for systems engineering and management, this one has the least sort of requirements, which is really nice. And this one is only 18 credit hours in the major area, and that's 3,000 level or above. So very kind of similar to mechanical engineering. Mechanical was 15, systems requires 18. So 18 credit hours in that major area, and they do need to be 3,000 level or above. And that should be pretty easy-ish to do. Now, here's the beauty with systems. So remember I was just talking about that if you didn't have the 90 credit hours and you didn't meet all the prerequisites, that you basically needed to make sure that you did it for some of those other programs. Well, for systems engineering and management, they take all undergraduate programs, which means that if you're a CS student or a computer engineering student or an electrical engineering, especially those 2 programs that has such an extensive list, and you're like, oh, there's no way I'm going to meet all those benchmarks because I didn't start early enough. So if you're like a junior on the call, or possibly even a second semester sophomore, and you're listening to this and you're like, there's no way, I just don't have enough time to meet all those benchmark courses. Well, have you met 18 at least? Because if you've met already 18, guess what? You're eligible to apply for systems. And this means that you could take graduate level courses still as an undergraduate student and still only have 1 year left. Now, the only difference with systems engineering and management is that they are a 36 credit hour program. So remember how I mentioned in the beginning that most of our programs were 30 credit? Systems engineering is the only one that's 36 credit. So that would be 2 additional classes afterwards, past the 30, I mean. So 6 credit hours is 2 classes. So, but they would allow you to still be able to do the FastTrack program. So if you're interested in doing FastTrack and you haven't met sort of the benchmark courses of some of the other ones that had really long lists, I would highly encourage you to reach out to Brenda Rains, the graduate advisor for systems engineering, and let's get you in the FastTrack program for systems. So you're still able to take graduate level courses. You're still able to pursue a master's degree, but it'll be a master's degree in systems engineering and management. All right, so what does the application process look like? Well, the application process is you're going to complete an online application. After you're done completing the online application, you're going to submit your unofficial transcript, and then you're going to meet with the graduate advisor. I cannot stress to you enough, it is super, super, super important that you meet with the graduate advisor. This is going to be the person that will really help guide you in taking the right graduate courses and then that replaces your undergraduate courses that are required on your degree plan. You really want to make sure that this is an open line of communication and that you know what's expected of you, and they're going to be the people that will be able to help guide you through the graduate coursework that you'll be taking as an undergraduate student in the FastTrack program. So here are the application deadlines, and I apologize because I just realized I said October 1st, which I'm thinking it is October 1st, but I might have been wrong on that. Right now I have listed as October 15th, but definitely check our website, and then I have the fall for March 15th. So I was right with the March 15th deadline. Again, if you are currently taking the benchmark courses and you are not going to obviously have them completed by these two deadlines for the following term, don't worry. This is where communication is key. Reach out to your graduate advisor. Complete the online application so you at least get it done and sent, and then just make sure that you have that open line of communication and let them know that you are that you're applying, that you're interested, your grades so far are good, you're going to have everything posted, and then as soon as it's posted you will be able to update them, and that way then as long as everything is good and you've done all that you're supposed to do and your grades are good, hopefully you'll be accepted into the program and you'll be able to register for those classes right away. All right, so one of our last slides. Now, here are your contact information. Please, please, please make sure that you take a picture or you pause this, you type out an email. If you have questions regarding the graduate level courses that you're supposed to take, anything like that you're interested in, definitely make sure that you are reaching out to Miss Jacqueline Trin at Academic Advising. She is located in ECS, the ECS South Academic Suite. Although you are a student who might have a different academic advisor based on your last name, you still are going to want to reach out to Jackie. She is over the FastTrack program. She'll be able to provide you the contact information. You definitely, again, communication is key. So talk with your own advisor and let them know that you are interested, and then they'll likely just point you to Jackie that will help make sure that your degree plan is what it needs to be in order for you to successfully apply once you've completed that 90 credit hours. When it comes down to applying to the programs, the graduate programs, it's super, super important that you reach out to the graduate contacts. They're the ones that are going to help guide you and provide you the right classes that you're supposed to take in order for those classes to count for both your undergraduate and your graduate level. So for biomedical engineering, you're going to want to reach out to Andy Rhodes. For computer science, you're going to want to reach out to Jorge Cobb. For electrical and computer engineering, you're going to want to reach out to Cameron Kisala. For materials science and engineering, you're going to want to reach out to Lev Gelb. For mechanical engineering, you're going to want to reach out to Dong Xian. And then for systems engineering, you're going to want to reach out to Brenda Rains. So please make sure that you are consistently staying in contact with the graduate contacts, because they're going to be the most important people and the line of communication that you need as you are successfully completing your graduate level courses while in the FastTrack program. So, last but not least, I do always like to make sure that I provide funding opportunities for our students. And this is a great funding opportunity. It's the SMART Scholarship, and this is for U.S. citizens. So I apologize because it does say permanent residents, and it's not available for permanent residents. It is only available for U.S. citizens. But this program is great because it will actually cover students that are in the FastTrack program. So if you start off in the FastTrack program and you are a SMART Scholar and it funds your undergraduate, it will also fund one more year of your master's program. It's a nice bridge over. So if you want more information, there is a QR code right there on the screen. So I would definitely encourage you to scan that QR code. Again, there is a misprint on this slide. It is only for U.S. citizens. This particular funding opportunity is with the DoD, so Department of Defense, and you must be a U.S. citizen in order to be employed by the Department of Defense. This scholarship covers your full tuition and fees. It gives you a monthly living stipend, and then you are guaranteed internship and a career. So for those that are accepted as a SMART Scholar, you will be given an internship within the DoD or Department of Defense, and that employer will then hire you once you are done with your degree. So it comes with guaranteed employment, which is super great. It's a great opportunity for our students. So again, I would highly encourage you to apply for this if you are eligible. All right, well, thank you so much for watching this FastTrack information session. I hope that you were able to learn a lot of really great information. Again, if you need to reach out and ask questions, definitely make sure that you're speaking with your ECS academic advisors, that you're reaching out to Jackie in the ECS advising suite, and also that you are reaching out to the graduate program coordinators that are over each of the FastTrack programs at the graduate level. Thanks so much and have a great rest of your day. Bye.